Okay, so sorry for the weird angle. I want to get the camera up high enough so you can see the floor behind me. I just finished my first micro cement project. If you don't know anything about micro cement, it's a very cool product. It's a very thin topping that can go over almost any surface. It can go over tile, it can go over wood, it can go over previous cement. I had wood as the flooring here before, and it was just OSB. It was like plywood. It was 3/4 inch plywood. So I was very interested to see how it would lay on top of this and how it would set. What I liked particularly about micro cement is that you can add color pigmentation, which I did to this as well. And because I would see these images of these floors that seemed to match the texture of the walls, and I never quite understood how you could achieve that. And so micro cement was the answer to that riddle. I'll show you in this video kind of where things went well for me and where I'll do things differently next time. And yeah, hope this helps. So this is the product that I used. I used Microtech by Suretek, and that's also their color pigmentation that I added to the mixture. So for this process, you add 5 quarts of water to a 5-gallon bucket. That's the amount of water that you'll use for a 40-pound bag. That's the color pigmentation. I went with the color limestone. So first you add in your color pigmentation to the water before you add the Microtech topping. And using an electric mixer, you add the Microtech solution to the water. You do half of the bag first, mix it up, which I forgot to film, the first half, and then you add the second half of the bag to the water, and then you mix that up completely. So the best tool for this is a spiral paint mixer, a heavy duty power driven paint mixer. And you want to mix this up until all of the clumps and all of the residual powder has been mixed into the liquid. It's useful to use a taping knife to get all of the edges scraped off, because you can see I'm getting some powder that was kind of caking to the side of the 5-gallon bucket. And the final consistency for me was a little bit on the watery side. I probably could have gone a little bit thicker, but this seemed to work. So in terms of application, you basically just pour sections of your micro cement onto the floor where you want it to be applied. And as you can see, I had a OSB flooring before I applied my micro cement. And so here, I'm using the trowel to just basically push the cement, the micro cement, across the flooring. Now, it's important to note that once you work a corner, you're working away from it. You can never step on the wet flooring. So it's important to be strategic about what angles of the floor you approach first. For me, I was using a trowel to apply this, but this, I believe, for me was a mistake, because troweling on the micro cement, you can start to see it take shape here. It was very difficult to not have lines forming at the edge of my trowel, probably because I'm not well versed at troweling things onto walls or floors for that matter. So I would suggest a 10-inch taping knife if I were gonna do this project again. I'll show you how I remedied those marks and those ridges, but I think it would have saved me a lot of time and a lot of headache if I would have used a taping knife instead of a trowel for this process. But as you can see, I'm just slowly but surely working my way around the room, trying to start with the edges and bring it across the room so that way I don't corner myself or make an area unreachable. Now I used a 40-pound bag of mix in that 5-gallon bucket, and that was just enough for me to cover an 11 by 11 room. So about 121 square feet. So keep that in mind. I may have gone on a little thick, but keep that in mind as you're trying to figure out the amount that you're gonna need for your particular room. So as you can see at the end of it, once it had dried, it took about 24 hours to dry, I had a lot of ridges left that I was unhappy with. And so I taped up the opening in the room, and I decided to take a sander to those edges to try and smooth down those ridges. Part of the benefit of sanding, even though I don't suggest making this error in the first place of using the trowel, part of what was nice was it created a bit more texture in the actual microcement. And so it worked, I think, in my favor of giving the floor a little bit more texture and a little bit more life. So here's what it looked like after I had sanded it down and gotten all of the ridges, or most of the ridges, out of the way. After the sanding process, it's time to put a sealant on there, and Microtech or Suretek does sell a specific sealant for this, but I just bought a gallon bucket of polyurethane from Home Depot. The nice part of this process is you can just pour it onto the floor and then use a paint roller to apply it all the way across. So you'll want to apply at least 2 layers of polyurethane to your floor after the microcement's been put down. Probably 3 to be safe. I only did 2. I might go back and do another layer just to protect it a little bit more. Okay, so that is the finished product of my microcement journey here in my studio. I'm hoping to do another project like this where I implement some of the learnings that I had from this project, and I'll be sure to capture that and share it with you. Thanks.